All right, here we go. Judge Mathis, welcome back to Vlad TV at a very important time in the legal world where Sean Diddy Combs was just sentenced to 50 months in prison. Now, I'm pretty good about predicting this kind of stuff. Like, I predicted what he's going to be convicted of, but I've been way off when it came to the sentencing. But out of everyone I talked to, you nailed it pretty much. Yeah. You said that the judge is going to look at everything else that came out in that courtroom, and the sentencing will be related to that. So you were right. Were you surprised at the 50 months?
Well, I was surprised it wasn't more, quite frankly. Based on the prosecutors wanted 11 years. The judge, as we know, said he would be considering things outside of the conviction. Mm-hmm. And so wouldn't give him $1 million bond, or I think later he offered $50 million, and you wouldn't give him a bond. So no, I thought he was going to bring the hammer down a little harder. But 5 years is 5 years, 4 years and 2 months rather.
Right, because there is 14 months time served. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at about maybe 3 years?
Yes.
3 years. Now, what they're saying, I don't know if this is true or not. What's that?
The 1 year off, or 1.4, I'm sorry, year and 4 months, as
right.
You just said.
Exactly, yeah. 14 months of time served. Mm-hmm. So, but if he qualifies for the RDAP program, which is a residential drug abuse program, he could potentially get like 6 months off, maybe a little bit more off, some halfway house situations. Do you think that that'll happen and he'll get out maybe a year and a half?
It's interesting that you would mention that, first of all, because that's where I think, as great as his defense team was, Diddy, I think they missed the boat on his mental illness as an appeal to the judge's compassion and understanding. He admitted earlier that he was bipolar, so you need to lean into that, because bipolar is exactly the behavior he exhibited: uncontrollable rage, mood swings, mania. Hypersexuality is even a part of bipolarism. And that requires treatment. You can't counsel that out. So that's a chemical imbalance. He needs medication. I hope he is. But he should have leaned into that with his sentencing. I'm a good guy, et cetera, and that wasn't me. Those things you saw wasn't me. That is a result of a mental disorder that I am being treated for now, and I'm being medicated for it. Now, if you were too ashamed or didn't want the stigma of medication, and instead you wanted to rely on the judge's mercy, that's the chance you took. But I would have leaned into that. And as such, the sentence should have also included it. The judge should have required him to obtain treatment as part of his sentence, meaning you don't come home unless you abide by the treatment circumstances that I've ordered. If it's you must have a doctor that you must see every week, or you must be medicated every week. Judge didn't do that, and that's one of the things I don't like about judges when they sentence. They just throw the book at you, no rehabilitation expected, no requirements for education. I was required to get a GED. Changed my life. He gets no requirement. These guys come back out and do the same thing because they haven't changed. If he doesn't get treatment, he's going to come back and do the same thing because he's already said he has a mental disorder, and that's uncontrollable. You can't control a temper if you have a chemical imbalance without medicating it. And so that's the appeal he should have made, and even if he didn't make that, the judge should have ordered that. Otherwise, he's going to come back out and beat more women.
Well, he was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. He has to pay a $500,000 fine, which is the maximum. Judge Aaron Supermanian noted that this was an upward variation from the guidelines, but said he was taking into account Combs' immense resources, which enabled his crimes. Now, when Diddy was sentenced, this is what happened in the courtroom. This is a sketch that we're going to show right now. He basically broke down and started crying.
Well, it looked like he was praying also and thanking God, and he should.
Oh, so that's a good thing? You think that was like a crying tears of joy?
I think it was, and I think he was, I think he was crying and praying to God for the sentence he has received. And God, please help me. God, please get me through this. I think he's a spiritual man from all he said and all we've observed. And I think it had to do with that. I don't think he fell out on the floor crying.
Okay.
I just don't think that's what it was.
Well, 3 years is a long time, because one of the things that the prosecutors brought up was that he had already booked a speaking engagement in Miami next week. Do you think that affected the judge's sentencing?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
So he was already like, I'm already out of here. Let me plan this gig, that gig.
Bad decision.
If
it happened. I don't know if it happened or if he confirmed it. I heard that was alleged to be the case. But yeah, that's a bad move. And if so, he should have perhaps brought that up and said, Judge, I'm intending to go on a speaking tour trying to give a cautionary tale and inspire people to do the right thing and talk about mental health, because that was the challenge that I have, and et cetera, et cetera. So if you grant me that opportunity to do so, I would like to do it. And I have an engagement next month because I'm hoping and praying that you will allow me to leave and then go and serve. Go hook up with Judge Mathis so he can take me around and serve young folks like he does all the other kingpins.
Okay.
I had Boosie the other day.
Yeah.
We were in Chicago together, and we talked about doing that. Me and Boosie go hook up and get out here and try to help some folks. I wrote a letter for him to try and...
you wrote a letter for Boosie. I didn't know that.
Yes. Me and the council person there in Chicago.
Everyone in my little circle is rocking with each other, helping each other out. I love that.
Yep, Councilwoman Coleman, who had him there, Stephanie Coleman, and had us both there at her festival.
Nice.
Put us together, and she wrote a letter, and I wrote a letter.
Well, the judge said that outpatient treatment and mental health programs were warranted, and he also ordered Combs to serve 5 years of supervised release.
He said warranted. Did he order it?
No.
I
don't think so. I don't think so.
He didn't. And that's what I think needed to happen. Now, how much time would I give him? Is that you want to get to that part? So I can kind of put that together.
How much time would you have given him?
I would have given him 2 years for each charge. However, I would have run them concurrently, meaning he would have 2 years to serve, mandatory treatment, 10-year probation, which that mandatory treatment would continue, and that's why I would give him that long probation term, because you got to keep going with that. And we got to make sure that you're not one of those types that, I'm done with treatment, I don't like the way the medicine makes me feel, and all the other reasons that people end up in prison instead of in counseling or instead of a doctor's office. And so that's what I would have done. And that's what I'm concerned that the judge deviated from what is typically concurrent sentencing. So the essence of what he did is gave him consecutive sentencing.
Yeah, pretty much.
2.5 years on each.
2.5 and 2.5, 5 total,
Yeah, and consecutive. On the other hand, I would have made it concurrent. Consecutive is typically reserved for, well, I guess he could consider that the conviction wasn't a heinous crime. No. But the other circumstances, which he decided he wanted to consider, and he could. Most judges shouldn't, but you can consider what you were acquitted of based on the behavior that you observed during that case.
Well, here's some insight into the sentencing. Now, the factors that were considered. The judge said he's found that the court may consider acquitted conduct among other factors when sentencing Combs. The defense has opposed this idea when arguing for a lenient sentencing for Combs. But on the appropriate sentencing, the judge accepted that the range of 70 to 87 months recommended in the pre-sentencing report is appropriate and saw no reason to deviate from that. He also saw that guidelines allow the court to impose a fine from $25,000 to $250,000, which is why the $500,000 fine came in.
Two cases. That's what I'm saying about the sentencing.
Yeah.
He ran them consecutively.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the characterization of some witnesses, the defense objected to the same report's characterization of Cassie and Jane and the paid male escorts as victims. The judge overruled the objection, saying the evidence in the trial established that they were transported for the purpose of engaging in a commercial sex act. And in terms of Diddy's remorse, the defense objected to the same report not giving Combs credit for acceptance of responsibility. But the judge said that Combs challenged his factual guilt as to his conviction, and that while he has expressed remorse for some things, he hasn't expressed remorse as to what he's been convicted of, which is transporting people to engage in prostitution.
Well, he can't. If he wanted, he had to preserve appeal. Folks don't understand why he didn't say,
could admit to
I'm guilty, I did it. He did everything, he said everything but that. Because if he did, he wouldn't have an opportunity for an appeal. Because you've admitted. You've admitted everything you've been convicted of.
Is there a chance of an appeal in this case?
Oh, is there one? Whether there were mistakes made during the trial, that would determine whether there is an appeal eligible. And I don't know. Don't know. You have to follow it an appeal can turn on one word in the courtroom.
Well, yeah, he addressed the court. He said that he lost his self-respect. He's been humbled. He said, I hate myself. I got stripped down to nothing. I want to apologize. I don't have anyone but myself to blame. I know I'll never put my hands on another person again, and so forth and so forth.
Everything but I have a mental disorder, as I disclosed earlier in the trial. I'm bipolar, and I'm going to get it treated. That's what I'm going to commit my life to, getting treated for bipolar, and then go out in the mental health community and try and change lives in that area so that other men or women who suffer from bipolar don't become violent and engage in rage and domestic violence and battery and assault and hyperactive hypersexuality. I don't know how well he's going to do with that on when he's lecturing. They're going to say, oh, and now you're going too far, Diddy. We was with you when you said get your temper under control. But now you're telling us to calm down on the sex. No, sir.
Well, right, because Diddy tried to paint himself as a drug addict who didn't get help and so forth. And the judge actually addressed that. He said the drugs may have exasperated your erratic and violent behavior over the years. However, the court has to consider all of your history here.
40% of the people on, 40% of folks who suffer from bipolar are on drugs. Those are, I know a lot about this. It's in my family. From me being ADHD, to others being bipolar in my family, to others suffering from depression. So I know it back and forth. And the symptoms are, as I said, mood swings, violent outbursts, hypersexuality. If you look it up, you look up the definition, you'll see that there as well. And higher risk of drug addiction. So he's a classic bipolar sufferer and didn't lean into it. I believe he could have gotten less time. I would have proposed, as his defense attorney, that he accept some time and then say, Your Honor, would you perhaps give him time served, but make him also subject himself to medical treatment for bipolar, and you all should monitor that, Your Honor. We think that would be a fair trial. Would I have let him off altogether for that? No. Would I have given him less time? Yes, because I'd had faith that he is committed to changing and that with therapy he can change.
Well, the judge said that Diddy's actions were serious offenses that irreparably harmed 2 women who still feel the effects today. The conduct occurred over a decade with tremendous frequency over that time period. Why did it happen that long? Because you had the power and the resources to keep it going, and because you weren't caught. Now, what strikes the judge about Diddy's claim that he's remorseful and won't do it again is that Combs assaulted Jane in 2024, even after authorities executed search warrants. This was true. I interviewed one of the male escorts that after the home raids, they continued to have freak-offs in Diddy's Miami mansion. This is Don the dealer. This was after the raids. He knew there was a grand jury that was about to get him arrested, and he kept doing the freak-offs. And the judge noticed that as well, because I guess an assault happened as well during that time. The judge went on to say that Diddy abused the women he claimed to love physically, emotionally, and psychologically. He was sitting right there during Cassie and Jane's testimony. We read about it in text messages and emails. We saw it in the images of gashes, bruises, broken doors. We saw the video of your savage beating of Cassie. This was subjugation. It drove both Cassie and Jane to thoughts of ending their lives and the reality of what happened.
Well, once again, what he did subsequent to his arrest, as you said, he continued on. When he was told it was coming down, and he continued. That's once again classic bipolar. Bad judgment, bad decision making, inability to control. The mind is a hell of a thing. If you can't control your mind, that you can't control your behavior. And I'm riding with that. And I think that that's what needs to be done. He needs treatment and he needs to be punished. Those are some horrific things he did to those women. Horrific. And that's why I would give him 2 years on each count, a total of 4 years. However, I would have them to run concurrently.
Right.
And require mental health treatment. That's how you stop it.
The judge said something interesting at the end. He said, to Miss Ventura, Jane, and other victims who came forward, I can only say your families are proud of you and your children when they're old enough to be proud of you, and I am proud of you for telling the world what's really happened. You were speaking to the millions of women out there who have been victims of feel invisible and powerless and had to suffer in silence. You told those women and the world that violence behind closed doors doesn't have to stay hidden forever. The number of people you have reached is incalculable. Now, he also told Diddy that he's probably in a dark place right now, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Those letters and all those letters that I saw show that you have a universe of people that love you. Let them lift you now and uplift you just as you have lifted them for many years. You will have a chance to show your children in the world what real accountability and healing looks like. So basically saying, yes, you will do some time, but you will get out and you have a life ahead of you.
Yes, but I hope when he gets out, he's been treated and continues his treatment. See, I keep going back to this because I go to prisons. I've done prison tour. In fact, I did one with the Surgeon General under the Clinton administration where we visited 8 prisons around the country. We had each prison give us all the information on the mental health. Turns out that on average, about 23% of all U.S. prisoners suffer from some form of mental illness and they're being treated. So what we see in society, and that's why I'm zeroing in on this, we see rich kids go to counseling, privileged kids that is, and our kids go to jail. So I say to mothers who regard it as a stigma, I don't want the stigma of mental illness, I don't want nobody saying my son taking medication. Well, you can either take him up to that doctor 5 minutes away, or you can take him to that prison 5 hours away later on in life, which one you want to do. And it sounds like had Diddy had some treatment early on in life, because the things he's exhibited didn't just start hitting the man over the head with the champagne bottle, the music exec.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Steve
know he
Stout.
got some violent behavior.
Yeah.
And those are classic symptoms, and they've been going on for a long time. And it's something that we in our community just have a stigma about being treated for.
Well, here's the question. Do you think Trump will pardon him? Let him walk out?
No.
Really?
No.
Why?
Someone reminded Trump that he said something slick about him.
Yeah, but doesn't Trump get over stuff like that?
No.
Really?
Never. No.
You see Trump
he's
beefing
coming
with
after
people
all
and cool
these
with
people, and he
people.
comes after them. He's going after everybody.
Well, listen, Elon Musk went after Trump, and the two of them reunited at Charlie Kirk's funeral. Seemed like they were cool again. A politician doesn't really hold grudges, it seems.
Pay attention to him. This is a new type of politician, Doc. We be hold grudges. He's prosecuting everybody who said anything about him in a powerful position. So
Yeah.
I don't think he will. That's just my opinion.
Now, you were a state judge,
Yes.
so someone that you sentenced can only be pardoned by the governor. But in
Clemency,
your
yes.
case, you've never had anyone pardoned by the governor.
No, because I didn't give a lot of time out. Yeah, I didn't give a lot of time. I would do just what the judge did for me. Minimal amount of time, require some mechanism of transforming your life, whether it's mental health, whether in my case, it's get your behind back in school and get you a GED. And I better not see you back here. Next time it'll be 2 more years. And so I say that to say, that's why I didn't have a lot of that, because I attached their need to the punishment. Yes, what is prison for? What is a sentence for? Rehabilitation, deterring others from doing the same thing, and punishing. And so I focused a lot on the rehabilitation. And because I believe that's what we need. You send them in, they go round and round, in and out, in and out, in and out, come back, damage you more, go back, get sicker and slicker, come back out and do wrong again until they get life or till they're dead. And so there has to be some intervention in the lives of those who are living destructive. Nobody is born with a criminal gene. There's no such thing.
No, but bipolar disorder is a real thing. Like I had a friend, Disco D, and he was bipolar. He ended up hanging himself in his mother's bedroom at one point.
What?
He hung himself. He killed himself.
Yeah.
That killed me. Like when I heard about that, I went to the wake, but I would see these bipolar episodes. He'd be like super happy and hype and like all over the top. Then he'd go into these really depressive moods and then back to the hype part again.
What did you see Puffy doing in that part of one video? I'm a savage. I'm a savage.
Yeah.
Manic. That's manic. And did your guy, was he getting treatment of any sort?
It was what you said. I don't like to take the drugs because it makes my head cloudy. And look, I remember I was going through some health problems at one point. It ended up just all being in my head, but they gave me antidepressants. And yeah, it makes your head cloudy. I tried it for a couple of days and I said, man, screw this. I'm cool. So I can relate to someone saying this, but
if it makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, but like Kanye is someone who's classically been off his meds, and you see him just go completely off the rocker and mess up billions of dollars. Like you see him, remember when he went on stage and canceled his whole world tour during a temper tantrum on stage? Like the whole world tour was canceled. Imagine how many hundreds of millions of dollars just fell apart right then and there.
I wish that brother would stick to his treatment. He is such a brilliant guy. I wish he would stick to his treatment. He could really be much more of a benefit to our community, more than he is.
Well, last question. When I interviewed you last time, the one thing I forgot to ask you that everyone in the comments kept asking about was the whole crackhead thing that happened. Was it just one episode or was it multiple episodes?
On television?
On television.
On my show?
On your show.
Oh, I call everybody crackhead.
Right.
Almost every. I'm crack traumatized. See, I need therapy for that. Did I tell you where see, most folks don't know where that comes from. I lived in a crack house. I think I told you I lived in a crack house for 2 years after getting my undergrad degree.
You didn't tell me this part.
Yeah.
You lived in a crack house. Mm-hmm. So they were smoking crack
for 2
next
years.
to you. Okay, so who was selling the crack?
My brother.
Okay.
No, my one brother was selling the powder to the other brother who was cooking it up and smoking it with his buddies in the same house.
Okay.
So I had come out of college. I didn't have anywhere to go, no parents. I went to stay with my brothers. Well, I was going to law school at night, working full-time during the day, so I didn't have to see a whole lot of it. I'd come in at 11 o'clock after coming from law school. I'd come walk through. I'm going staying in the attic. So I walk through. Either they smoking or they looking through the carpet, looking for a rock. And I just go up to the attic, shake my head, might even talk a little stuff to them. And in the morning, I leave out at 7, 8 a.m., and come back at 11 again. So I didn't see a whole lot of it, but I'd see the fiends or the crackheads. And weekends, I'd be with my wife or then my girlfriend. But yeah, I lived, so I'm crack traumatized. I told my therapist, I said, I can't get past all them crackheads I saw for 2 years straight. She said, well, you just got to talk it out. I said, what do you mean, talk it out? She said, start talking about crack. So that's why I've been calling people crackhead. It's on my show.
Right.
It's therapy.
Right. There was one clip in particular where you can say, I can smell a little crack in you. And the guy denied it. He said, the more I look at you, the more you smell like crack.
How about the woman that just insisted she never used crack? I mean, oh, you gotta see this woman's out. Never. I said, you sure you haven't been on no crack? Never. You sure you did? Never. Just one time. Just one time. I got a crack radar. And it came
Crack
from
radar.
it came from living in a crack house for 2 years with my brothers. God bless their souls. I couldn't talk about it earlier, but they're passed now, and I love them to death. And they both had recovered, and before they passed and became devout Christians. So
I remember I had Freeway Ricky on my show, right? And at one point, I put him on FaceTime with Whack 100 because Whack accused him of snitching or whatever. So they start arguing on my show, right there live. And Freeway was trying to insist there's no such thing as a crack baby. And I had to look it up and say, no, that's not true, Free. Come on. Like, there's such thing as crack babies. You know, he's like, oh, no, they did a Harvard study and it wasn't true. You know, that was alcohol. And it's like, no. There's definitely such thing as a crack baby. Smoking crack while you're pregnant has horrific consequences.
My family has been affected by it, too.
Really?
Yes, I hate to hear that because science says that it causes developmental problems in children, and their education is stunted, and their cognitive abilities are weakened. And no, that's real. That's real. The crack baby. Well, crack syndrome, I think they call it, something of that nature.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you follow social media, but you know who Krishan Rock is?
No.
Krishan Rock, that's Blueface's girlfriend / baby mother, allegedly. We're not sure. But her baby just doesn't look right. And people are saying it's fetal alcohol syndrome.
Oh, yeah. He said that isn't true either. That doesn't happen. They're both fetal alcohol syndrome and cocaine addiction syndrome.
Yeah. Cause I remember DJ Academics was telling me how he was actually FaceTiming her while she was pregnant. She was like smoking blunts right there on the FaceTime, 6 months, 7 months pregnant. By the way, I put an open letter out to Cardi B, who's sitting there beefing with Nicki Minaj and screaming on the phone. I'm like, you're 6 months pregnant. Yeah. You know, do this while you're breastfeeding. You know, give it a rest. You're going to end up hurting the baby. You know, popping blood vessels.
I love Cardi B. Ain't nothing you can say to me about her. And I've never met her. I want to meet you, Cardi B. You're my type of sister.
Nah, she's great. She's great.
She reminds me of the girls from the projects I grew up with. But she came up.
Oh, no, she will fight you in person.
There's no question.
She will do it.
That's why I say
she tried to fight Nicki back in the day. Nicki didn't want it.
She reminds me of the girls in the projects I grew up with.
Well, Judge Mathis, man, I really, truly appreciate your insight because I'm a bootleg lawyer. Our friend Johnny Gill is a bootleg lawyer. Everyone on the internet wants to pretend like they know the law. Everyone thought he was going to get time served, but you were the only person on my show that was saying he's going to get a serious sentence, and this is why.
Yeah.
And now we know why you're a judge, and we just fake it on television. You're the real deal. You're the real deal. And you've proven today, once again, how you know how this legal system works. And that's why I wanted to kind of break down the whole judge thing, because he was using guidelines. And I think, yeah, there is some gray area. But from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a lawyer, when it comes to appeals, you can't say the judge gave too much time because it's up to the discretion of the judge. You can't appeal a discretion. Is that true or no?
You can appeal for resentencing, but not soon. Years down the line, you could.
By that time, he'll be out anyway. So.
Correct. But no, these are for guys who are doing 20 years, 25. You go in for resentencing. Appeal for resentencing.
So for Diddy, he's not going to beat that.
Nah.
But he's going to try to appeal. You think?
Don't know. I have, not.
It seems like with this little time, it's like the process of going through the appeal. What, you might shave off 6 months, maybe, if you're lucky. Because it took.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. With him, he can get an appeal and a decision probably within 6 to 12 months.
Okay, 6 to 12 months, then that might shave, like I said, 6 months to 9 months off his sentence. It seems like it's almost not even worth it. But then again, it's Diddy, so.
That's what I'm saying. It may not be worth it to you. 1 month might be worth it. 1 month.
Get out a day early.
Yeah, a day early.
I got a freak off plan. Stop it. He's going to go back to his freak off.
I'm going to get treatment.
He's going back to his freak off.
He's going to get treatment so that he doesn't have to engage in hypersexuality, mood swings, extreme rage, which are all symptoms of bipolar. He has exhibited in the public eye. Who knows how much he's done it in private. Good luck, brother. I hope you get the treatment you need. But yes, you deserve to be punished. What you did to those girls were horrific. You were only convicted of the prostitution, but the judge had the ability, and he did also add aggravating circumstances based on the surrounding factors.
What can I say? You're right. You're right. And here we are. That's what it is. Until next time.
All right. Court is over.
Peace.
Court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.
So, Vlad, we got the sentence today on Diddy.
Yeah.
Want to hear your thoughts. Do you think he got too much time? They gave him 50 months.
I think it's too much time. I think it's too much time because, from my point of view, he got convicted of the prostitution, which really is a slap on the wrist. It really is just a misdemeanor. The fact that they threw in a transportation state to state. I've interviewed 5 of the male escorts. They have all said they were not trafficked. They all said they were with it. They all enjoyed it.
Correct.
Probably would have done it for free, considering it's Cassie. You know? And some of them weren't even trafficked. Like the Punisher guy was always in state. So I don't even know why he was on the stand like that. Mm-hmm. I think they made an example out of him. I think they tried to embarrass him. I think they overreached what they were trying to do with the RICO and the sex trafficking and so forth. And ultimately, I think this is a side effect of everything that's happened. But I respect the judge's decision, and I don't think it's outrageous, but I think it's on the high side.
What do you think the sentence should have been?
I thought it'd be 2 years. I thought 1 year time served, extra year, maybe get out a little bit early, with good behavior. I think that would have proven a point.
2 years total?
Total.
Meaning 1 for each conviction?
2 years total.
Okay.
Concurrent.
Yeah.
Concurrent.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years concurrent, including time served. He did 5 years concurrent, basically.
Yeah.
So he did 2.5 times what I thought. But ultimately, I could see why the judge would do that as well. There's an argument for both sides. And I think the problem was, with Diddy booking engagements the next week and so forth. I think this is what a lot of entertainers fall into. Tory Lanez fell into the same thing, where they watch social media and they see all the people speaking out and, oh, he's innocent. It's so unfair. Because at one point, Diddy went from being a monster to they're kind of picking on him, right? And everyone started to kind of be pro-Diddy in a way. Mm-hmm. So I think people like Diddy, people like Tory Lanez look at this and say, oh, well, of course, the jury or the judge, now that the people are behind me on social media, the court will follow suit. But that doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't. So you get your head full thinking I'm getting out. Let me go ahead and book my next show, do this, do that. And look what happened. It backfired. I mean, you were right when you said that them bringing that up in court probably pissed off the judge.
Absolutely did. Absolutely did. Now, let me ask you, because I'm leaning into the mental health issue that came out early during the trial, but wasn't mentioned during the sentencing, neither by his attorneys, who should have appealed to the judge for leniency under those terms and for treatment instead of a longer prison term. Why do you think that wasn't mentioned?
It seemed like they focused on the drug use, but not the mental health issues. Yeah. That's the impression that I got.
Yeah.
They focused on him being a drug addict, but not being mentally disabled. Yeah. And that seemed like it kind of hurt him a little bit based on what you're saying.
Yeah, and they should have brought a doctor to the sentencing today or yesterday to give testimony and appeal to the judge that I have diagnosed him. Yeah. He suffers from bipolar. The things you've seen are exemplary of those things that bipolar sufferers engage in. And so I'm just asking, Your Honor, that you put him on a treatment plan, order him to subject himself to a treatment plan so that he doesn't do this to any women before. Punishment is up to you, but I'm letting you know there's some mitigating factors here. Mitigating mean some things that affect this that kind of doesn't, it reduces the perception that he is a monster. No, he is ill.
Yeah.
And the illness, when it comes down, when he has his episodes, turns him into a monster. If I was the lawyer, that's what I would have been saying.
Yeah. I mean, do judges ever become lawyers? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that actually happen in the real world?
But most don't become judges until they're old. There's only a few of us that really start young.
Yeah.
And I was a judge in my...
Yeah, but I'm saying, do they actually go the other way? Does a judge
After
retire
being a
and then
judge,
become a lawyer?
Sometimes. But
Yeah.
most judges, they start late in age.
Yeah.
And they only stay 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And by that time, they're ready to retire.
Ready to retire,
But
yeah.
young ones like myself, I might have sat for 6 years, 10 years, and I would have been 40s. And so,
Sure.
yeah, I would have had a lucrative practice afterwards.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of federal prosecutors become lawyers.
Yes.
They leave the feds
And become
then
defense
start.
lawyers.
Yeah, they start becoming defense lawyers since they're already in the system. In fact, I heard that when it comes to federal cases, you almost always want to hire a former federal prosecutor. That's true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
No
And you have to
doubt
hire
about
the whole
it.
firm basically to work your case.
Yeah. And pay that $900 an hour for a former federal prosecutor.
I've paid those type of prices for other stuff.
You better come to me. I can get you a $250
Oh, yeah?
an hour lawyer.
Okay.
You
All right.
might not be able to contact him, but every 5 days because he got 1,000 other clients.
Better call Saul, huh? One of those types.
Right.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll see. Look, I don't know Diddy, but I've interviewed him before. I've run into him and had brief conversations.
And that's the thing. I've seen him where he was very nice and outgoing.
Yeah.
And then I've seen him where he had the kind of snarl on him.
Yeah.
Like, like he was ready to throw down for no reason. And so, observing his behavior, hearing what I heard in court, I think the brother needs treatment just as
Bipolar.
much as he does punishment.
Bipolar disorder. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, at this point, it's too late, though, right?
No.
No?
Well, it's too late for the judge to order it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
For Diddy, it's
That's
too late
correct.
to try to pull that card.
That's correct. Oh, yeah, that's
That's
too
what I'm
late.
saying.
They missed that opportunity.
They should have pulled that already.
Yep, sure have.
All right,
Sure.
well.
The lawyers did a great job otherwise, his defense lawyers, but they missed that.
Yep.
All right, they
Mathis,
should have
man.
called the judge.
Should have called the judge. My man.
All right.
Peace.
Mathis verdict.